I get so much love in person. I haven't ever had a negative encounter in person ever.
No one has ever said a negative word about her in person.
So there's no place in this league for that. I think the WNBA, our team and our organization has done a great job supporting me. I've had communication from everyone, from so many people across this league, and being able to support me and going through this whole process. Obviously, it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone, and I think they've done a great job supporting us in this.
She's not innocent, if you will. She's not innocent.
Angel Reese doesn't have a clear identity. What are you? Are you the villain or the victim? Are you the aggressor or the damsel in distress?
Angel Reese is a liar. Angel Reese is a fraud. Angel Reese is a sociopath.
Angel Reese just slipped up, and it changes everything. After months of claiming racist attacks from Caitlyn Clark fans, she now admits she's never had a single negative encounter in person.
I get so much love in person. I've never had a negative encounter in person ever.
So, was it all a lie?
In fact, you just admitted you lied.
If you support Caitlyn Clark 100%, drop a 100% in the comments right now. Let's show the truth matters.
Caitlyn Clark's not a miracle worker.
Caitlyn Clark is a superstar globally.
Caitlyn Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Caitlyn Clark is the absolute difference maker for the Indiana Fever.
Let's break down exactly what Angel Reese said and why it's blowing up. In a recent press conference, Angel Reese looked dead into the camera and said this: "I get so much love in person. I haven't ever had a negative encounter in person, ever. And I've been going through this for 3 years."
Yeah, obviously don't worry about what's going on online. I get so much love in person. I haven't ever had a negative encounter in person ever. And I've been going through this for 3 years. I've never had it.
Pause, let that sink in. This is the same Angel Reese who, just weeks ago, accused Indiana Fever fans, the same team Caitlyn Clark plays for, of yelling racist slurs while she shot free throws.
Last month, Reese said she had a rough week because she heard a Fever fan shout racial slurs while she shot free throws.
Some claim the evidence was alleged monkey sounds being made, they said, by the crowd when Reese made the free throw shot that came as a result of the flagrant foul. Listen here.
This is the same Angel who claimed that a white fan of Caitlyn Clark blocked her and her teammates from entering a hotel and even called her a slur.
Angel Reese claimed that a white Caitlyn Clark fan blocked her and her teammates from entering a team hotel while calling her, quote, a ghetto bitch.
Ms. Carter, have you got a chance to reach out to Caitlyn?
Hey, man, come on with that.
Relax. Have you got a chance to reach out to Caitlyn? Trinity, have you gotten a chance? The basketball world wants to know if you've gotten a chance to reach out to her.
After a video from the scene was released, in the video, the man in question did not harass, storm at, threaten, or get in the face of any players, as was alleged. None of it.
These are not light claims. They sparked league-wide investigations, fan outrage, and national media coverage. But guess what? The WNBA found nothing. The hotel incident, caught on video, and it shows the man calmly asking if Angel planned to apologize to Caitlyn for a hard foul. That's it. And now, Angel herself says no one's ever said a single negative word to her in person.
Three-time BET Sportswoman of the Year, Angel Reese, says she doesn't pay attention to what folks say about her online because no one has ever said a negative word about her in person.
That's not just a contradiction. It's a complete unraveling of the entire narrative she's been pushing. The moment she said that, it was like she accidentally admitted the whole thing was a fabrication, or at the very least, a dramatic exaggeration. And where's the media accountability? Crickets, the same outlets that gave her headlines and sympathy when she made these claims, now refuse to question her when she contradicts them on video. Angel didn't just change her mind, she undermined her own story, the one used to label Caitlyn Clark's fan base as racist, divide the league, and shield herself from criticism. This wasn't a slip-up. This was a truth bomb, and now the receipts are public.
Yeah, I obviously don't worry about what's going on online. I get so much love in person. I haven't ever had a negative encounter in person ever. And I've been going through this for 3 years. I've never had an encounter in person that was negative. So people online are behind a keyboard for a reason, and I don't worry about that stuff. I trust my work. My teammates trust me. And I was telling Milla today, like, she felt like she was having a rough day. And I was like, how many times have I had a rough day? And you picked me up. So don't get down on yourself. I know my teammates have my back, my coaches have my back, and that's all that really matters. I don't have to prove anything to anybody but myself and my teammates.
Now that Angel Reese has admitted on camera that she's never had a negative encounter in person, we need to talk about who took the biggest hit while she pushed that false narrative. Caitlyn Clark. Let's be clear, Caitlyn Clark never asked for any of this. She didn't provoke it. She didn't respond to it. She didn't even acknowledge it. Yet she's been the unfair target of a months-long smear campaign, not just by Reese, but by media figures, Twitter mobs, and so-called activist journalists. Remember last year's NCAA championship game? Reese taunted Clark with the "you can't see me" hand wave and pointed to her ring finger. That moment went viral, not because of the gesture itself, but because Reese and her defenders weaponized it, claiming that Clark was the golden child of the media and could do no wrong because she was white.
Angel Reese is a terrible basketball player. She has regressed as a player. Her decision-making is equally as bad.
From that point on, every Caitlyn Clark supporter was suddenly labeled racist, problematic, or part of white America who couldn't handle a confident black woman.
The WNBA is clearly racist. She's been all but forced to put out apologizing for being white and, well, let's be honest, being better than the black girls in the league.
Let that sink in. Angel Reese took normal sports banter and elevated it into a race war, and Caitlyn was just out here trying to play basketball. Fast forward to the WNBA season, Reese again painted Caitlyn Clark's fan base as hostile and racist. She said a Clark fan blocked her from entering a hotel and hurled slurs. That's a massive accusation. It made headlines, it stirred emotions, and it gave her the victim status that insulated her from any and all criticism.
The fact that the WNBA has to put out a statement because of racist comments and unsafe conditions toward Angel Reese, like, I just want people to be mindful. If this was the other way around, oh Lord, you can only imagine how the conversation would have gone.
When it comes to racism and the hateful rhetoric and the statement that the WNBA is saying, I think it's important because at the end of the day, if you are truly a basketball fan, you would understand and agree. We have no space in our game for those types of comments.
People are using this situation as a cover for their innate vitriol and maybe their innate kind of racism or racial tension or racial misunderstanding. And now that they have been given a reason, at least a reason that they're going to try to take, which is Angel Reese reacting to Caitlyn Clark's foul, now this is their opportunity to say what they always wanted to say, but they needed a mask to put on to cover up the innate whether it's racism or the innate prejudice or just the innate hate that they have for Angel Reese and the way in which she carries herself.
Meanwhile, what did Caitlyn Clark do? She didn't lash out. She didn't accuse anyone. She didn't play the victim. She kept playing basketball.
Caitlyn Clark is more mature. Caitlyn Clark has decorum.
Caitlyn Clark obviously is jet fuel to its popularity.
Caitlyn Clark is far better of a basketball player and has made such a tremendous impact in a greater number, more so than Angel Reese. Everybody knows that. Her college career was better. The stadium sales, the WNBA popularity has gone up because Caitlyn Clark.
She kept leading her team. She kept elevating the WNBA's visibility, even while being hacked, shoved, and fouled harder than anyone else in the league. The media ran with Angel's narrative that Caitlyn Clark's rise came at the expense of black players, that she was only beloved because of her skin color, and that the scrutiny Angel faced was somehow Clark's fault. But now, Angel just torched her own narrative. She said she's never had a single negative experience in person. She said all the hate she's talked about for months was just online noise. So what was that hotel incident about? What about the racist Fever fans? What about the league investigations? Gone. Erased.
That investigation that happened on the Indiana Fever fans was basically somebody saying something racist to her. So you just came out and stated that nothing ever happened.
Or worse, fabricated. And who gets left holding the bag? Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn was made the villain for doing absolutely nothing wrong, for playing hard, for staying composed, for not taking the bait. That's what makes this even more powerful. Angel's lie didn't just fall apart. It exposed how unfairly Caitlyn was treated the entire time. And still, Clark remained silent. No interviews calling people out, no emotional pressers, no rants on social media. She lets her game talk. She's earned every ounce of respect.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlyn Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually. The most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlyn Clark.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from three. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from three-point range.
Because through all of it, the disrespect, the targeted fouls, the coded language, and the media spin, Caitlyn Clark stayed focused, humble, and professional. That's the difference. That's why more and more people are waking up to the truth. And that's why you're seeing this massive wave of support for Caitlyn, from fans, fellow athletes, and even legends of the game. Because truth always wins in the end.
The amount of crap that she gets on a day-to-day, and she still shows up. Just a 23-year-old kid who handles herself with grace. Her crown is heavy. So whatever else, like, y'all want to come at her for the way that she acts, she has to build the wall. She has to have the wall. Because if she doesn't, people will break her down. Not only just because of the way she looks, but it's because of the way she carries herself. She doesn't just walk around and act like, oh, I'm this. No, she knows who she is. And we ain't going to break her down for that. So whatever other questions y'all got, like, I'm hoping it's just about basketball, maybe a box score question. But the kid's crown is heavy. Like, respect that.
The problem here with trying to cast Angel Reese in the role of the ultimate victim, she's not a sympathetic victim. You're not generating sympathy, you're generating more skepticism.
Let's talk about how we got here. Not just Angel Reese's contradiction, but how she got away with it for so long. Because this didn't happen in a vacuum. Angel Reese didn't just wake up one day and start accusing Caitlyn Clark fans of racism or throw out vague claims about being targeted. No. This was allowed to build. This was enabled, amplified, and protected by an entire system that valued celebrity over credibility. Let's start with the awards. Angel Reese was recently named BET Sportswoman of the Year.
The Sportswoman of the Year for the BET Awards is Angel Reese.
Not WNBA Player of the Year, not NCAA Champion, not even All-Star. Sportswoman of the Year. Over legends like Simone Biles, who has Olympic golds, over Aja Wilson, the reigning MVP, and even over Clarissa Shields, an undisputed world boxing champion across 3 weight divisions. Even Clarissa Shields came out confused, tweeting, "Still don't know how I didn't win Sportswoman of the Year. I thought accolades mattered." She's not wrong, but here's the thing. It wasn't about sports. Angel won that award not for what she did on the court, but for what she represented off the court.
Angel Reese is pleading for sympathy. Angel Reese is begging for attention, begging to be noticed.
Social media engagement, brand deals, and viral moments. She's been everywhere. Beats by Dre commercials, McDonald's ads, podcast interviews, Reese's Pieces promotions, Instagram reels, TikTok trends. She's built a media empire, but not through dominance in the WNBA. It's been personality-driven, controversy-driven, and yes, race-driven, and the media ate it up. She became a media darling, not because of stats, but because she fit the narrative. The unapologetic black woman going up against the system, which they painted as white and oppressive. The problem is, they named Caitlyn Clark the face of that system without any evidence or fairness. So when Angel made claims about racism, threats, hotel incidents, heckling fans, the media didn't fact-check. They didn't challenge. They didn't question. They amplified. And when the WNBA investigated and found nothing, silence.
The WNBA investigated both Reese's accusations and found nothing.
The same press that runs multiple think pieces every time Caitlyn Clark gets elbowed in the ribs suddenly had no questions when Angel Reese's story started falling apart. Why? because to question Angel would risk being called racist, because truth was less profitable than outrage, because they bought into the myth instead of the merit. And it wasn't just sports media, it was entertainment media, social media influencers, and celebrity circles. Angel was being propped up as the cultural icon, while Caitlyn Clark, the player actually breaking attendance records, viewership milestones, and lifting an entire league, was being framed as privileged.
Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too.
I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too.
A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question. Angel Reese can't proudly accept the role of the villain, then beg people for sympathy. You can't complain about mythical racism. You can't create stories of fake racism that get exposed, then ask people to feel sorry for you.
Think about how twisted that is. Caitlyn Clark brings millions of eyeballs to the WNBA, yet is told to earn respect. Meanwhile, Angel Reese makes false accusations, then admits on camera she's never had a negative experience, and nobody blinks. Imagine if Caitlyn Clark had said the same thing. Imagine if Caitlyn claimed to be the victim of racist attacks, only to later say, "I've never had a problem with anyone." It would be front-page news. She'd be crucified. Her integrity would be questioned by every major outlet. They'd call her dishonest, entitled, manipulative, you name it. But Angel, she's protected. Even when she contradicts herself, she's protected. And that's the problem. This double standard isn't just unfair to Caitlyn Clark, it's dangerous for the sport. Because when truth is replaced by narrative, when actual athletes are overlooked in favor of media personalities, when baseless accusations go unchallenged because they serve a bigger message, you don't get growth, you get division. You don't get empowerment, you get manipulation. And most importantly, you don't get respect, you get resentment. The media created a shield around Angel Reese so thick that even the truth couldn't get through. But now, with her own words, she's pierced that bubble. She said the quiet part out loud. "I've never had a negative encounter in person." Well then, what were we all fighting about? What were fans called racist for? What were WNBA players defending you from?
The Angel Reese fan base to understand that. She's not innocent, if you will. She's not innocent. Versus where Caitlyn Clark, what has she done or said? You know, she hasn't lied on anybody. She hasn't, threw any shade towards anybody fan base. Angel Reese, she hasn't done any of that.
What were we told to educate ourselves about? The answer? Nothing.
WNBA announces that after an investigation, they found no racist comments from Indiana fans. Angel Reese lied.
It was smoke and mirrors, and the media was the magician. But here's the twist. The truth is louder now. Caitlyn Clark never had to speak on it. She never fired back. And yet, her silence speaks volumes. It's grace under pressure. It's maturity beyond her years. And it's something the media has no control over. They can't spin this anymore. Because Angel didn't get exposed by a rival, she exposed herself.
Caitlyn Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
She's my role model. I really look up to her. Why do you like Caitlyn? She's so good at basketball. Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura.
So there you have it. Angel Reese said it herself. After months of playing the victim, accusing fans, fueling division, and dragging Caitlyn Clark through the mud, she now admits she's never had a negative encounter in person. That's not just a contradiction, that's an admission.
Angel Smollett, in her own words.
Yeah, obviously there's no place in this league for that. I think the WNBA, our team and our organization has done a great job supporting me. I've had communication from everyone, from so many people across this league, and being able to support me and going through this whole process. Obviously, it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone, and I think they've done a great job supporting us in this.
What do you think the league's response, just coming out right away and getting that investigation going?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, they understand that this is this is the priority. Obviously, there's no place for this, and they preach. I think 2 days before they put out no hate, no speech. And obviously, the women in this league, they know that and know there's no space for that. And I believe that every player in this league deserves to be treated with respect and want to come to work and just have fun and have a great environment to work at. So I think they've done a great job putting that out, and we're obviously just going to respond as they need to.
No evidence. Shocking. The WNBA is a joke. And even with Clark carrying the league on her shoulders, it still sucked.
An admission that the stories didn't match the reality. An admission that Caitlyn Clark was wrongly vilified by the media, by the fans, and by Angel's own words. But through it all, Caitlyn kept her head down. No drama, no excuses, no interviews calling anyone out. Just basketball and excellence. And that's why the fans love her. That's why the league is growing. Caitlyn Clark is everything they said she wasn't, and more. Now I want to hear from you. If you support Caitlyn Clark 100%, drop a 100% in the comments right now. Let's drown out the noise with truth, with class, and with real support for the face of the league.
She is highly likable. I think that lends itself to her popularity is she comes across as somebody that's really just respectful, likable. There's other players out there that just don't come across that way.
And don't forget, like this video, subscribe for more, and turn on the bell so you never miss the truth the mainstream won't tell you. Caitlyn Clark didn't ask for this fight, but she's winning it anyway. See you next time.